Two Shy Girls podcast. I'm Simone.
And I'm Anne.
And tonight we want to start out with just saying that to remember the memory of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She has done a lot for women's rights, and while she was not perfect, overall she did better than she did wrong.
Yeah. Funny, I just didn't really know much about her until when we were in school together and we watched that documentary for con law. Just her history is just, I mean, again, like what you said, like she has flaws and she's done good as well, but like you have to recognize like the history that she had is just amazing to look back at.
Right, raising two kids and a cancerous husband while going to law school. Not that her husband was causing cancer, that he just had cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and just a champion for women's rights, and or argued in front of the Supreme Court that she eventually would serve on. Having to face adversity, being a woman in a time where only men were lawyers. Yeah, some big steps she made for us, and even with her flaws, is a person who should be celebrated. So what we want to talk about today is that we don't have too many things on the agenda today, but to start, we are going to talk about Cindy McCain endorsing Joe Biden. It is ridiculous.
I can't even keep track of who's on what party anymore.
Yeah, I mean, Trump is divisive. A lot of Republicans don't like him, except for the ones that want to replace Ruth's successor.
Yes.
Now they're all over him, but...
Yes, that's why, like, to me, it's like a roller coaster. It's like 1 minute, someone's, like Mitt Romney is all outspoken about how divisive he is and how dangerous he is, but then the next minute, as usual, some personal political gain comes into the picture, and they're falling all over him again.
Yeah, and frankly though, I have concerns about the nominee, that the Barrett.
Yes.
I'm so confused. She's from Chicago. And but an avid conservative? Like, where did that come from? And she is a part of this group that is loyal to and they have pledged to be loyal to the group forever, and it's a very misogynistic group of women, and that's where did that come from? She is scary. To be a fervent Republican in the midst of a Democratic city is ridiculous, and for just to
I think a lot of people, because we do have that reputation for being a major Democrat center, as far as especially with Chicago, but that's where kind of to me, Chicago and Illinois has always been just kind of a miniature version of the United States as far as a divide goes between race, class, with how politics go. So Chicago, it's very much a lot of working class, a lot of people of color communities and all that, but there's that divide. So where you usually see more of the conservative side, I mean, there is a lot of, again, looking into the business world of Chicago, looking into maybe the more the surrounding suburbs. So I would say yes, I could see where people are just really surprised by her having these really outrageous conservative values. But as someone who grew up in Chicago, like, I'm not surprised that we have someone like that here.
Excuse me. It's not that I'm necessarily surprised. Like, being from Charlotte, like, Charlotte is a Democratic city, but the surrounding areas, like Mecklenburg County, is not Democratic in the slightest. But she was appointed, but at some point I believe she was an elected judge.
Yeah.
And so to have been elected as a Republican judge, where the Democratic vote vastly outweighs the Republican vote, is kind of astonishing.
I've had my theories as far as sometimes when we do end up with a Republican in office. Take, for example, back when we had Bruce Rauner. I was very, very shocked again that our majority was red. And as far as like my theory goes with that, is it's down to voting. Again, this is just me. I don't have any proof of this, but we've had our issues in the past with as far as like blocking a vote of certain votes. So like in Chicago, there's been times of, again, that the biggest example would be like when we went red for our governor. We had polls closing early, or we had like issues with not enough polling locations, issues with mail-in ballots. So I'm not saying that, sometimes that the vote isn't going to flip, but I just tend to lean more on the suspicious side when it does happen. So again, as far as an example of having her elected as a judge with these conservative views, to me it always comes down to, okay, so who drew up the map and what was going on that night?
I mean, I guess like just where I'm from in North Carolina, we haven't, in my experience, had a problem with polling places. Now, I know Charlotte and Raleigh have had problems. And I live just outside of Charlotte, into the neighboring county, which is red. So they're not trying to stop our vote. But there hasn't been really, like, I could vote at my college, which was also in the neighboring, I grew up and went to college in the same county. And you could vote there. You just had to have your student ID on you. Like, it was never a problem.
Yeah.
And you could vote, and it wasn't at the school. It was at the town center. You just had a student ID, and they were like, "Yep, you can go vote." Like, you didn't need nothing.
Yeah, that's very different for here. It's a big deal. It's usually around just like way before, as far as the voting messages are. I think it really does get out to like more of like places like Chicago, because I would say we do have more issues as far as like actually being able to vote. Here I have seen it where the biggest is mail-in ballot. As we know right now, Trump is going after the post office, and that, as someone who, again, from Chicago, from my viewpoint, that's really scary, because I could see that affecting us, because we already have issues with mail-in ballots a lot of times. So it's obviously it's an issue across the United States, but we do see it
recently.
Here a
So
lot.
I voted by mail this year, and I've already done it, and they gave me a little sticker that says I voted by mail. It's so cute. But I voted in North Carolina, and they said, "Oh, it'll be mailed out on the 4th, and you should get it in 7 to 10 business days." So it comes around, and it's like the 15th, and I'm like, "Where's my ballot?" And I didn't get it until the 22nd.
Wow.
Because they apparently didn't, and my ballot number said I was ballot number 62. So it's like, it's not even like I was late, like a really large number, and I was like number 4057.
Yeah.
Like, 62, and they were still like, it still took them forever to get to Chicago, and just the mail has been horrible, even in a city center. And because I just switched banks and they're supposed to be sending me a debit card, and they're like, it could take up to 2 weeks, and I'm like, it shouldn't. And they sent me the PIN number, but I haven't gotten the actual card, and I was like, I have money on it, and I'm like, can I really would like, but that's not the point. The mail system is slow, and faulty right now. So, yeah. But all that to say that Cindy McCain endorsed Joe Biden instead of following in her father's footsteps and in her own precedent that she has set, and backing any Republican over a Democrat in the history of the world. I don't like Cindy McCain. You remember she was on The View?
Yeah, I don't like her. That's why I know people are just like, oh, this is awesome, and the far left of me is like, no.
It is awesome. It is awesome for people who are followers of Cindy McCain, like Cindy McCain's viewpoints, and they're like, oh, even she doesn't like Trump? Oh, we have some, like, there's some shit going on, and we need to figure it the fuck out. Excuse my nasally voice. But it's bad because it shows just how bad Trump is to his Republican base. And I told George this, but I am not afraid necessarily of what Trump can do and what a Republican Senate can do, because we've dealt with it before and it's been shady, but like, it's not the worst. I am more afraid of Trump's supporters, because what the scariest thing that Trump did was embolden his supporters to be hateful and cruel, and show that they're not going to get in trouble if they do something crazy on camera even. And that's not like a knock at the cops. Like, it's literally regular civilians doing shit to people on camera and like not getting in trouble for it because they might be in a red state where screw that black person. Like, nobody really cares. In red states, they're kind of rude like that. Being from a red state, I can affirm. Not all of North Carolina is bad, but it's a good port. My neighbor, however, she is so Democratic. Very, very white, has like 4 kids. Like, and there's like a stepchild somewhere. So Democratic. Most of the people in my immediate vicinity were pretty Democratic. And then you venture out of my neighborhood or like down the road, it's like a different world. But but if you're from where I'm from, you would know that. Yeah. But our next and last topic, because tonight seems like it's gonna be short, is... Never mind, it's not gonna be short. Is the grand jury...
No, it's not.
Is the grand jury, let Brett Hackinson, of one of the cops who barged in and murdered Breonna Taylor, off with, only let's just call them the bullets that missed.
Yeah.
And 1 endangerment. So, yeah, and you go first.
I can't even fathom what happened. We have someone who was murdered. Let's just call it what it is. She was murdered.
Mm-hmm.
And the only charge someone is getting is for basically, potentially, almost messing up a house a little bit.
So, the fun part about this is that, that really is gonna make your blood boil, is so they were in an apartment complex. So he got charged with the 3 bullets that went into a neighboring apartment, where a white family lived, discounted the bullets that went through the roof to a black family. Didn't get charged for those.
I'm not in law school anymore, so maybe I don't have the legal knowledge in it, but I keep looking at this, and this is truly where I keep saying, how have
we seen the Attorney General and his Uncle Tomness? Okay, for those of you who don't know what an Uncle Tom is, go look it up on Urban Dictionary. But, did you see his engagement pictures where there was not a single black soul in the whole room? And I was like, wow, I get it. I am a black person with a lot of white friends, but there would have been more than just white people. He's so Uncle Tom. And then he's gonna be like, oh, I don't think they would have stuck. Yeah, but you could have let a grand jury decide it, and then we could have been mad at the grand jury. He was like, oh, no, they're not gonna stick, so only one endangerment. That's, okay. Mitch McConnell went to his wedding, did you know that?
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
I'm heated.
Yep.
I'm heated.
Yep.
Nobody likes Mitch McConnell, and this man is so close with Mitch McConnell that they went to each other. He went to his wedding.
So what I've been saying.